Welcome to the good life.
Welcome to the good life. Welcome to the good life. We are in the good life.
We're in that good life with the Sklar Brothers.
Oh, dude.
Thank you, brother.
What a treat to
Dude.
be on with you, man.
Oh man, it's always a treat
You know how
to do.
we feel about you.
Oh, dude, don't let me
Don't
start
start.
gushing
Don't
over.
make me
Don't
cry.
get me
Don't
started.
make me.
He already cried.
I don't want to do this at the top of the podcast, man.
Make me
It's too much, man.
We got nowhere to go emotionally from here.
I know.
love you, man.
We can't hide anymore if we start crying at the top.
We'd start talking in that voice for the next hour.
That would be
I couldn't do that.
insane.
No, that'd be too much.
Too much.
Too
It'd
much.
be like 3 Jeremy Hotzes up here. Like, what? And it's called Two Hots for Two Hots
to
for the
handle.
radio.
a lot of hand to the nose.
Yeah. Because mama, I'm too hots to handle now. That is the song. Dan, dan, dan. I'm sorry.
It's very musical. You just knocked over his TV almost.
Thank you.
right?
I'm sorry.
Nice.
You are very musical.
You find out that this is not even a wall, and we just all fall.
We fall into the comedy store.
yeah. Yeah, we're so close to
We
this.
fall into Mitzi's coffin.
It's like, okay, this makes sense.
Why? But I love that she has an open coffin still for us to go in.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
It's open for us.
Yeah.
A
Guest spots available.
2-year open casket, which at the beginning sounded like a good idea, and then you're like,
Like, I wonder if there are, like, a couple of people that showed up to Bush Senior, H.W. Bush's, like, casket viewing.
way to timestamp this podcast, Randy, for
And-
someone who looks at this 12
And
years from now.
people... And the people in the family were like, why is that guy here? You know what I mean? Like, definitely a few people showed up. They're like, oh, man. I don't want this.
I was his mailman.
Nah.
Yeah. You think there were some plus ones at that funeral?
There were some
For
plus
sure.
ones.
They're
For
like,
sure.
did he even know Bush?
Yeah, nope. He didn't. Not
he
the
did
way.
not.
Not
There-
the way we did. I'm looking at this casket like I know this dude.
There are rules for plus ones at everything, right?
There's a plus one rule.
Plus one, you can't get too drunk as a plus one.
Nope.
Yeah.
You can't
'Cause
make
You got to be on best behavior.
You can't yell at someone if you're a plus one.
You're my plus one. You ruined my.
You're
you know what I mean?
representing the other person that you're there
You're
with.
beholden
By
to that
extension,
person.
you can't be the person who throws up like into the shrimp. You're the
can't-
plus one.
because it would be like your right arm punched your aunt in the face.
Mm-hmm.
However much you want to do it, you can't then just be like, "I'm sorry, my right arm." No, that is attached to you.
Yeah.
Plus one's attached to you.
Plus one.
You bear that
Have
responsibility.
you-
Who are you bringing plus one to Bush's casket viewing?
Who am I?
Who are you gonna bring?
Ooh.
Who do you bring to Bush's
man.
plus one for his casket viewing? I'm saying Cardi B. She's gonna roll up there. and
She's
be
my
like,
number one.
Hey! Hey, girl.
Hi, girl.
I want her and Nicki Minaj to show up like in the stanchion, see each other, be like, I got here first.
Yeah, no, this is me. Well,
got
the
here
first time I heard
first.
Cardi B, I was like, what's going on? Like, I thought Nicki Minaj already had that. Like,
We met Nicki Minaj.
did you?
Yeah. So we were writing for, and we'd never really written for anybody.
Her butt was the plus one to Bush's funeral.
Her butt was her plus one. Like, I got my butt.
Guys.
She's like, I'm riding in first class, my butt riding in coach. So we were doing this thing for VH1. Kathy Griffin was hosting this thing in front of the troops, and we like wrote comedy for her. And Jeff Ross did it. He came out and did a set. He was amazing.
So
It was so
good.
good to see him. But it was like 20,000 troops in southern, like, but
Near
just
San
north of
Diego.
San Diego at like the military base down there. And it was really, really funny. But Katy Perry was on the show, and Nicki Minaj was on the show. Minaj was
Snooki in
great.
the situation.
Snooki in the Situation did a little something. Like Snooki in the Situation.
This is quite the eclectic mix.
Snooki in the Situation could be like, if the show didn't exist, Snooki in the Situation could be like a Nathaniel Rateliff in the Night Sweats. Am I right? Like kind of a bunch of white people and one black saxophone player.
What's
Like,
funny is the two
throwback.
of those references. I understand them, but
No
but
one
the,
else.
But the two, but they're so polar opposite.
Oh my God.
One is like
that
an
they're pulling
indie-
from different parts of
Snooki in the Situation.
Snooki, remember when she was like the most hated orange person in America?
Yeah, that was it.
There was a time we were like, get her out.
Can't get any
the
worse
good,
than
the
this.
good days.
I did chant lock her up when I would see the Jersey Show.
So did I.
But yeah, so we were there and we were writing for the show, and Nicki Minaj was on the show, and this
she
is
could
early.
not have been cooler.
Nicer.
She was so nice, and I was like,
Oh, really?
Man, I'm gonna take your side in every beef from here on out.
Yes.
Unless you say
Any
something,
diss track, I'm on your side.
unless you say something about the Jews stacking chips, I'm with you, girl. And
But
I
that
was.
sounds like a gangster line, though.
Unless you said something about the
Jews
Jews
stacking chips.
Yeah, stacking chips like Hebrews. That's from It's All About the Benjamins.
You throw it out, I might slip. Going. Yeah.
Yeah. No, but she was so nice. Like, I was not prepared for how nice she was going to be, and I was like, man. And then she was so nice to us. We're like, Nicki Minaj, she is so nice. She is so great. And then she made Katy Perry cry.
Wow.
While we were there.
While
yeah.
we were there,
That
I was like,
pretty
what
great.
is she?
There was
she's-
drama. Katy Perry walked because I don't know. She was like throwing shade to Katy Perry, who I feel like and
Also very funny. She
also
was
very
funny
funny and
sweet.
very sweet and very cool. I was like, oh man, I'm on your train all the way, and she just said something to her that sort of like, I don't respect you or something like that.
Oh, wow.
And Katy Perry started crying.
Started crying, like ran back to the trailer, started crying. I was like, oh my God, there's crazy drama going on.
Yeah.
You get these women together, and it's like.
And
So you
and
knew
Kathy
that
Griffin said, and Kathy Griffin made the joke that who was it about?
Snooki, right? Or
No, Bristol Palin.
Oh,
No,
Bristol Palin, yeah.
White Precious. She called her White Precious.
Called her White Precious.
What?
Bristol Palin called her the White Precious.
And that was pretty crazy.
But yeah.
It was funny because she knew that was going to get heat, and so in the prompter,
We wrote a joke being like, oh, that's
like the response
the
to
response
what we
to what we were
expected,
expecting to get. We were like, oh, that's going to make you mad?
like 2 or 3 tags about how the audience was going to negatively react to that. So it wasn't like
We
she
didn't
knew
see
it was
that
going to
coming.
kill. She wasn't like surprised that people blew back at her. But it's
great.
pretty cool that she went for that joke in
great.
front of like
We
the
don't
military.
really do much, right? I mean, we write with our friends, if like friends of ours, other comedians.
You know who else wrote for that award show was a guy named David Wild, who was like a long-time
Legendary.
Rolling Stones writer, and he just was like a fountain of awesome stories. That was very cool.
Yeah, dude, he wrote for like every award show ever. Crazy.
Madness.
Oh, welcome to the good
Live. Yeah. Between every story is like,
That is crazy. I think back to that time, the Minaj time. And then every time I saw her when she was on, I would always take her side for everything. Like she was on
Since then,
American
yeah,
Idol.
because she was nice
She's
to
on
her.
American Idol, and
You're
getting
clearly
into it with Mariah Carey, and probably she's the instigator and the one who's
Yeah.
screwing it up. And I'd be like, Mariah Carey, get out of her face.
Yeah, Mariah, I don't know what you're doing
Get
right now.
out of her
but
face and go throw a baseball behind you, bitch.
You need to chill out.
Worst first pitch ever.
I highly recommend to all the people listening to this or watching this, go download or just watch Mariah Carey throwing out the first pitch.
No,
Have
download
you
it.
guys thrown out a
Yes,
first pitch
we
before?
have.
Where at?
So we threw out a first pitch we threw it in 2 places. One in Cleveland.
The Progressive Field.
So we were in Cleveland doing our podcast live or something. We were doing a show on a Sunday night in Cleveland.
and how does that come about? Like
people
who
in-
reaches out to you?
So the people from the team. Like
from the
someone who's
Indians
like,
were like, "Hey, we hear you're in town. We have a game on Sunday." It was towards the end of the year that Cleveland was not in
this
the
is
playoff.
before they started to make runs into the playoffs.
They're like, "Would they be interested in throwing out the first pitch?" And we were like, "Are you kidding?"
joking?
Yes.
Then we were like,
of
are we
course.
dying in 6 months? And this is our Make-A-Wish.
So we
have no
said,
idea.
"Yes, let's do it." So we go to the field and we take it so seriously. Like we're warming up, we're throwing down in their cage now. Probably while their real pitchers should have been warming up, but
Yeah,
we
like,
were
we're
down
taking space away.
We're like,
from the
I need
team. We're
20
like,
more for me.
I need more for me.
So we're throwing and we get out on the mound and
I went under sidearm, sidewinder.
You're like a slider or something?
Oh, I just went kind of.
I think you threw it about 75 miles an hour.
I whipped it so hard and
that the catcher had to jump up to catch it.
but he was great.
But so I was like, I'm gonna do a joke, and so I came set in the stretch, and I faked like I was throwing to third, and then turned around like I was gonna throw to first before I did my pitch. Classic stupid gag. Are we not gonna do a gag?
You gotta do it.
I mean, come on.
You gotta do it.
So I do that, and supposedly the guy in the
press
in the box right next to where we ultimately sat in the team's box got mad that I did that. Some old 68-year-old dude.
Throw it.
Throw the damn ball. He got really mad. And so I came back up and someone was like, hey, that guy was yelling at you for your little bit that you did. And I confronted him. And I'm not like the kind of person who would confront people, but I was like, hey, man, I heard you were upset about that. He's like, throw the damn ball. And I'm like, you're at a Cleveland Indians game in September.
You want the game to start? Like, don't.
Yeah, what is you're early? Like, go have a beer if you don't like what I'm. It almost became like that thing about like I was talking at this comedy show because it's my birthday. It's like, shut up.
Yeah.
You don't like who cares? So the video of us throwing the pitch out, which was taken from the box.
You hear the guy off the camera be like,
throw the ball. So if you go to YouTube and look up Sklar's throw out first pitch, see that. So we did that, and then we got a chance to in St. Louis throw out the first pitch on Jose Oquendo Bobblehead night.
Which Jose Oquendo was a guy who played for the Cardinals when we were kids. He came up with the Mets, and he never was a starter, but he famously played all 9 positions in 1 year.
He did, and he also played every position of the Kama Sutra.
Yeah,
a lot of people don't know that he did. He's done
It's
every.
a slightly different flip book. But
he foot fucked several people. Fucked them with his foot.
But he was
known as the secret weapon.
They called him a secret weapon both for the Kama Sutra and for baseball. And we loved the guy. We did like a whole special on ESPN about how we
were
thought,
trying to get him into Cooperstown, which if you're a utility player, it means you're not good enough to start, so you just fill in for everybody. But we're like, why isn't there that at Cooperstown? Like, how come there isn't a thing for that? So
look, there is a best supporting actor and actress role at the Oscars. Like Randy was watching the
I watched the AVN the 6-month repeat, like after it was on live
of the porn awards,
and I just started live tweeting the 6-month repeat of the AVN.
I was going to say that can't age very well.
No,
Yeah,
just like the porn stars themselves.
Yeah.
So
I was like, there was a category at the AVN Awards for best acting in a porno. I'm like, that is like at the Oscars.
Now,
at the Oscars, having a category for best anal, which
and
you know,
the award for best
anal goes to Meryl Streep
again.
Straight streeping.
she
it.
gets it every year.
Straight streeping.
Do you think that there's
Streep
porn
legal.
actresses or porn actors?
By the way, if there was
Porn and starring Meryl Streep, it would be called Streep
legal. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Do I think there were?
Do you think that there's any like porn actors out there who get some of those awards and then they try to go back into the regular auditioning game and be like, I've got some
wasn't
Well, the
credits
best
here.
is like if you have the award and at the audition you just put it down. Okay, you want me to slate? Let me slam this shit down first.
Boom, best actor,
Best anal in a porn.
best anal.
Do you want me to go through the front door or the back door?
Boom.
Boom.
That's how I got to this audition. Boom.
So we did throw. So we threw out the first pitch on Jose
In
Oquendo
St. Louis,
Bobblehead.
and so Randy thought he could go back.
So they let you, since it's two of you,
Well,
they
'cause
let you
we
go
did
back
this-
to back?
Yeah, back to back.
Gotcha.
Jay went and then I went. Jay,
Now, is that
or I
a
went,
lot
then
of
you went.
pressure? Is that even more pressure because usually it's only just one, celebrity
it's a
filling
lot
in?
of pressure.
It's very odd because
Which
early
one of you
enough.
went first?
so Randy went first,
Okay.
and he.
So were you feeling that like right after?
well, he threw it like.
So I tried to do the sidearm thing again, and I didn't really judge how far I was going to throw it. Our kids were on the field. We had these hats on that had like
Cameras
on them, so that
really?
they could record
coverage
us.
just in
yeah,
case.
record
Yeah.
us throwing the pitch and that whole thing, which was really cool. And so Oquendo was the guy who's a coach who's now like
third base coach.
He's
probably
like
four.
50 years old.
Yeah,
he's
he's
like
old.
he's like a little older than us. He's probably 50, 52 years old. He bent down with a regular glove to catch it. So he's not like a regular catcher who's going to move in any direction to get the ball. So he's not going to help you out in any way.
Right,
It better be
you need
right.
to get it
You better be
pretty
right at
direct,
him,
yeah.
and it better be right in his glove, or else he's not catching it. I mean, still a great athlete, but at the same time, he's not going to move around for the ball. So I went to the side, and there was a professional photographer photographing us, like throwing out these
Did you
pitches.
use that as your comedy headshots for a while?
I
Right,
wish
just,
I
hey,
want it so badly.
pitching jokes. And so I bent down and went to throw it sidearm after they did a really nice announcement for us. And it's early enough in the game where people are still showing up. Like,
It's not like 50,000 people are watching this. It's more like 25,000 people are there.
Still a lot of people.
It's a lot of people.
Okay,
Yeah.
even with half or 3/4 of the way, 2/3 full. So I throw it, and I go, and it goes. I mean, I threw it. My joke is I threw it so far left, I brushed back Rachel Maddow.
Guys.
I threw it so far left. I threw a hard ball to Chris Matthews.
Okay. Wait,
What is this? The 11th hour
What is
with
going
Brian
on
Williams.
here?
So I threw it.
I
so
played Bernie Sanders some chin music.
threw it so far left. Oquendo doesn't even make an effort to cross and try and get
And it hits this old photographer in the shin,
like
an
85-year-old.
He's not that old. He was probably like 72, but he was.
He seemed much older than that. A tall photographer taking my picture just nailed him in the shin. He's
so
not wearing-
bad that the mascot, Fred Bird, who's the carman, had to go over and comfort the guy.
Yeah, comforted the guy after.
So then I looked at Randy like, what are you doing?
You
And then
know-
once he did that, I'm like, no matter what I do, it's not going to be as bad as that. And then I threw a little bit of a curve, hooked it in right into Oquendo's chest.
Caught it, and it was
felt
great.
great.
It was a, and our kids were literally on the field with us watching
cool.
us. It was so fun, but I was really upset about throwing it too far.
Guys, you'll never believe this, but the photographer who, was
he
who
did.
they
We get
threw.
him?
I mean, I think we have him on the line
Okay.
right now.
Let's see if we've
He's
got him.
calling in. Hello, is this the old man that the Sklar Brothers
That
hit
I
with the
hit.
pitch?
In the, all right, sir.
Hello, you got to speak into the
You got to
phone,
speak
sir.
into the mic. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sir. I first of all, I want to apologize because I did not mean to. I wasn't throwing at you. I didn't feel like
That's okay. I just lost my leg.
you lost your
You
leg as
lost
a result
your
of it.
leg.
Yes, but I'm so old. It's okay.
It's okay that you lost your. Well, I mean, I still think you need
The
your
logic
leg.
behind that is not good at
It-
all.
just because
I'm
you're old-
so old,
it's
you're
okay.
okay to lose the
You're
leg.
gonna lose your life soon enough
It's
that'll.
okay.
It's not okay.
This old guy seems pretty cool.
It's not, you're so cool. I
Like-
mean, can you still take pictures for the team?
No,
You can't. So
I've lost my income, but it's okay.
It's not okay.
It's not okay. I don't know why you
caused
keep
all
saying
How
this.
come you're not suing me? I feel like I would sue
I
me.
feel
in
like
this.
you were the reason why you were gonna call in was you're disgruntled or you're
Yes.
upset.
I just wanted I felt so bad for him.
You felt bad for me. I know. It was a little embarrassing. And when you put it that way, who did lose more? I feel like I lost
You
maybe
lost
more
confidence
than him.
that day?
lost a little face and I lost a leg.
That's
It's
right.
okay.
It's not okay
I don't
though.
think-
I don't
I-
think it's
totally
it's not
okay.
okay. None of it is okay.
Now,
I'm okay.
You're
now
not
what,
okay.
Now, what would you say if your family is being held hostage and there's ransom for $600,000 for each of their heads?
And you only have like maybe 50,000 in the bank?
yeah,
I
what
would
would
say it's okay.
No, it's not
it's not okay. That's the whole thing
See,
that we're
there
trying
you
to
go.
get across.
Now we're establishing. Well, we're not getting across. We're establishing what he thinks is okay.
Right, right,
You
right.
do what you have to do.
What about waterboarding? How do you feel about that?
That's okay.
It's not.
It's not okay. I don't
It's
understand.
totally
Waterboarding is not okay.
What do you think about sex trafficking?
Sex.
I think that's okay.
It's not
Okay, that's not
okay.
okay. We're
It-
trying
You
to.
can't-
It depends.
Is there
There's
anything?
no. It depends with child trafficking.
Is there
whatsoever.
anything that is not okay with you? We got to figure that out before we let you go.
By the way, I bumped it up to child trafficking. You said sex trafficking. I went child trafficking.
hey, you got to keep
I'm
one up.
assuming most
and
of
he
them are
said
children.
it's okay. So.
Is it okay? Does that make a difference if it's child versus?
They're both okay.
They're not
they're
okay.
I
They're
would say
not.
they're
Your
okay.
ethics scale is very, very frightening.
You
Actually,
know what's not okay?
What's
What's
not okay?
not okay?
When you're standing at a stoplight and somebody pushes the button and you've already been there and they push, thinking that, like, you don't know how to do that. Like, that you wouldn't choose to already push the walk button.
I do
That's
hate
I mean,
not
I am
okay.
going to agree
I
with that.
can't stand
I
that.
can't. It's really frustrating.
That
like
to
I've
me-
been standing there a while.
Like,
It's like
what-
you think I'm too
what-
dumb
you
to
think,
hit
A,
the
do you
thing?
think I'm too dumb or that I've never stood at a stoplight before to ever press the button?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's absolutely right.
That's
I mean,
not okay.
it's not okay at
and
all.
they keep hitting it, and they're just like, wait,
Yeah.
wait.
It's like, no. I already pressed it. I already took care of that. I love that you just walked up and by looking at what I'm wearing, assume that I didn't get it right.
That's not okay.
It's not okay.
Child trafficking, okay.
Yeah, but
Okay.
that's but in terms of foot traffic across a walkway, not okay.
Okay, well, I just wanted to say you're okay.
All right,
I'm
not
you know,
okay.
I'm
You're not okay.
I
and
wouldn't
I'm
think
not
that-
okay.
Don't feel bad about
Okay.
them having
All
to
right.
cut it off right below
Well,
the knee.
Ooh, God,
Oh,
that's so hard.
dude.
I
That's
can't afford a prosthetic,
Oh,
Oh,
man, that's
wow.
not okay.
so I
That's
just
not
have
okay.
a wooden spoon taped to the bottom of it.
That's a
You
bad
can't
idea.
stand on that. That's not okay.
Yeah,
Taped
it's
to the-
actually okay.
It's
Do you-
not taped to the bottom of it.
Tape.
Taped.
It sounds like it could be very infected.
Yeah.
You know, I haven't looked at it, but I think it's okay.
It's not okay.
That's not
Please
okay.
go get it checked
Yeah,
out.
yeah, go get
Sir,
it checked
please go
out.
get it checked
Okay,
out.
bye.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Wow.
Bye. Randy, do you feel better about?
He,
I feel a little worse.
No, it felt like he was trying to
He was-
absolve you of
the
anything.
more
that
he
you
was
had.
trying to make me feel better, the worse I felt. You know how those people
Yeah.
sometimes give you
It's like putting more gas on that fire.
just
It's like,
felt
no,
like-
no, don't feel
He
bad.
sounded older than I thought he was. Maybe
Yeah,
you were right. He was.
He
in
sounded
his
more
80s.
feminine
Yeah.
than I had remembered too. But
I mean, I'm surprised. He sounded not even strong enough to take a picture, like
Yeah.
hold up the
He
like a
sounded very
telephoto
weak.
lens. You know what I mean?
He
Those
sounded
lenses
very
were-
weak.
But
and
you know,
forgiving.
since the accident happened, he's losing
I
limbs
think
left
his
and right.
entire
He's got
body
scurvy.
is atrophied.
he lost a lot of blood because of
Lost a lot.
that. He hasn't
Yeah.
been able to do his job. And you know what, Rand? Just don't beat yourself up
I
about
won't.
that.
I mean, as
no.
long as he says it's okay, I
said
feel
it's
good.
okay.
I feel good.
Oh man, I gotta take this. Another call is coming in. It's actually the guy who yelled at you guys.
Hello?
Oh,
Yeah. Hey,
sir,
man.
sir, you yelled at us like way back. Actually, at Jason. So I'm not
and
gonna
I
take
and
it.
I told you at the game, and I said I took offense to the fact that you.
You wanted him to start the pitch.
what were you
quicker.
in such a
What were
rush
you- yeah.
to see?
I wanted to see the game that I paid for.
All right, fine.
Which
You-
fine, we all
We
pay,
all
well,
pay,
we didn't pay
didn't
for the game,
but people pay for the game. But there's a little. You don't like a little bit of fun before
No,
a game.
you're making a mockery out of my favorite sport.
Yeah,
Well,
but
yes.
the first pitch, we're not making a mockery of the game, but the first pitch.
you know who
should be-
made a mockery of the game? That season's Indians
Yeah,
team.
your team that you were rooting
don't
for
bring
was.
the
Yeah,
Indians into this.
what do you mean? Don't bring that? We were
You're
on
coming
their
into
field.
my city, a couple of slick St. Louis kids, and you think that you can disparage the Indians? I don't agree with it one minute.
I don't. First of all, at
Let-
the time, the Indians could be disparaged. Let's
Yes,
just say. They've
and you know
gotten
what?
better.
You're right. They've gotten better, and maybe the fact that I made fun of the game that they played inspired them to be more competitive in September. So
Yeah, guys,
people like us couldn't be throwing out
Get
the
it
first
together.
pitch
If we're cocking around at your first pitch ceremony, then maybe it's time to start stepping things up. Get a new manager.
Let's do a thing where, like, look, it's not going to be the Sklar Brothers, throwing out the first pitch in late September. It's going to be Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Like, let's bump it up.
let's bump everything up a notch.
I wouldn't like that either.
You
Yeah,
wouldn't
I
like
know-
Joe Rogan
No,
either.
I wouldn't like
Why
if Joe
not?
Rogan, if he threw out the first pitch.
He would. You would love it. First of all, he might crush the ball in his hand.
Which
if Joe
could be good.
Rogan is going to do the first pitch,
Uh-huh.
I want him to come out like an Indian and shoot a bow and arrow into the catcher's
Well,
mitt.
hang on a second. I don't know if we're saying Indian, but if he put the ball on a crossbow and stood
Lit
at
it
the
on
mound, lit it on fire, and then shot it into the mitt, that would be great. And then turned around and we let a few wild animals loose, and he shot those, and then served them at the concession stand later. Buffalo burgers. Would you be down with that?
Okay.
All right. See. Okay. So we figured it out. We're good
We
to go.
did it.
I do think that sir, have we appeased you in any way, shape, or form? We'll get on that Joe Rogan thing.
I actually apologize about yelling at
See.
Jason.
Thank you.
This is what I love, and there isn't enough of this in this country. When someone
Resolution.
yes, and someone.
I made a mistake, okay?
You did.
These are words that do not get spoken in today's America.
No, this is actually the first time I've ever said sorry in my
Look
life.
at this.
Oh my God.
Look at this.
Are you
Randy.
married, sir?
Oh, about 7 times divorced.
Okay.
Well, there's
so that
probably
maybe if you
why.
said sorry once in a while, you'd still be with one.
I
of them.
don't know about that.
Well,
Yeah.
he at least he said he made a mistake, and so that's the first step
That's the
towards
first step
healing.
to
As long as
Towards
it's-
recovery.
That's the first step to
Well, I don't know
admitting
about
you've
recovery,
made it.
but
I would say admitting you made a mistake is the first step to admitting that you made
made
a mistake.
Yes.
All right. Well, goodbye.
Thanks. Oh wow, that what's so cool about that is because obviously in the heat of the moment, Jeremiah, I was angry at him and I came at him really hot.
So you came at him with some high heat. I don't know
And-
if he deserved that.
Well, but he did.
You didn't
didn't-
really
he didn't-
apologize to him.
No, I was actually surprised how
He
quickly
didn't
he just
demand an
like
apology.
Well, you know what?
surrendered
Because
to you, dude.
I don't like to apologize
You're
to
an,
people for stuff.
Jason. You're an intimidating.
I'm a
I want
very
to say
intimate.
that you're more intimidating than Randy.
I am 5'7.5 inches of pure
pure
intimidation.
Jewish
A
dynamite.
pure fury.
Pure Jewish dynamite. You're like a Hanukkah candle like, ready to explode.
Hanukkah candle, like leaning over towards
a
box
wooden,
of envelopes.
Yeah,
A Hanukkah candle of TNT.
Yes.
leaning over towards a box of envelopes. This whole town could go down.
Yes.
And I mean, in the context of the wildfires that we just survived in California, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
I mean, Hanukkah should have been, hey guys, we're just doing electric lights this year.
I think it's cool, Jeremiah, that you're going to have a gender reveal party for yourself. I think that's
dude.
a
when
lot of people see you
please
from
invite
behind
me
and
to
they
that.
don't know.
I will.
Your wife is going to get a cake. She's going to cut into it, and she's
We
gonna
will
see
find out
what
his
your
true gender is.
That's going to be a great moment. Please invite me to that.
I will definitely do that.
It's interesting because
What if
we have on the line right now the owner of the cake shop who is
actually the chef for my gender reveal party?
Exactly.
Okay.
And so he's on the line right now. If you would, it's an Italian bake shop, and he's making the cake for you.
Hello.
Hey, that's a good guy.
Hello.
Do you sound? Do you speak English?
I'm
Or?
making a cake for you.
You making the cake for
I'm
me?
making a cake for you, a gender reveal cake.
A gender reveal cake for me?
A
Yeah.
gender reveal cake.
Let me ask you something. Now, there have been a lot more recently. This wasn't something that we grew up with. Have you? What is your name, sir? I'm
My
Luigi.
name- Nope.
Geppetto.
Please. My name isn't Geppetto. It's not
Oh.
Luigi. It's Steve.
Oh,
Okay, Steve.
yeah,
My
Steve.
name is Steve. I used to cut her the hair. I used to cut her the hair. Now I'm making a cake.
Okay.
I
So
cut her you hair so good. $8 and I cut her you hair.
No, Steve. I've been going to you for years. So you cut my hair.
by the way,
and,
it used
and
to
you
be
make me
$10, and now it's down to
knocked
$8.
it down to $8 because I say, hey, I cut her you hair. I give you a deal. I'm making you hair feel so good.
Okay, so you
I mean, people compliment my hair all the time.
and you do have
Steve,
great
so-
hair.
I cut her you hair. Who am I talking to right now?
You're
You
talking to
talking to Jeremiah.
Jeremiah who?
Watkins.
Mr. Watkins.
I'm
And I
a-
say Mr. loosely because we don't know until the cake gets
Right.
made. Mr. Watkins, I cut her you hair.
So you cut my hair. I actually had a special.
I cut her you hair so good for $10 and then I cut it down to $8 because I kept cutting. I keep cutting prices.
You keep cutting prices.
I cut everything down.
Now, Steve, you are the Italian chef of
That's
you know,
all right. I make it a cake. I
of
make
the
all sorts of cake.
of the gender reveal cake
Well,
for
my-
my
I make so
upcoming
many
party.
good gender reveal cakes.
So I said, well, is this a new thing? Because we didn't really have gender
No,
reveal.
we make gender reveal cake a long time ago, but they don't make it a ceremony.
Okay.
Now the people, they say, do you want to know the birth of the baby? What's the gender going to be? And now people say, do you want to know my gender? Because transsexual people are now
okay.
huge in the world. And we
Right.
love it.
Now, I have a special request for my gender.
You got it, Mr. Watkins. I love it. I say Mr. Very, very loosely.
Right. Okay. So
You want me to cut a you hair for the gender reveal
I would
party?
well,
I
no.
cut a you hair.
I haven't-
$7. I cut it down.
Wow.
I haven't quite decided which direction I'm going to go.
Fair.
And that's a good.
Okay. So what I would like
just
for you
tell
to
me
do.
before we mix the cake.
No. Inside the cake, I want you to make half of the cake beef, okay? And then
Cake.
the other
I
half.
never make a beef cake.
the,
before. I make a beef pie.
the-
You want a beef for pie?
No.
make a beef
I
for
want
pie.
half of it to be beef for a beef cake, and the other half to be fish, okay?
Beef and
so-
fish. You
so-
want a beef cake and a fish cake?
Yes. So
I don't
obviously.
know if we make a fish cake.
Okay, could you make a
Where you gonna
sausage?
put it, the fish?
Put sausage on the left side, and I want you to put fish.
I put a
So
Gouda sausage. I put such a Gouda sausage. I make it put a pepperoncini. I put a little sausage.
okay,
in
you
there.
could totally do that.
Pecorino,
But basically,
I put everything in it.
make sure it's evenly split down the middle because I'm actually going to decide which gender I'm going to be
You
based
want me
on.
to cut it down the middle?
Yeah,
Because you know I used to cut it a hair. I cut
I
that
know
right down
you're
the
good at
middle.
making cuts.
I cut it down to $8. I cut a you cake.
Yeah.
I only charge $6 to cut the cake.
Why do you keep lowering it? It kind of is worrying me that the prices
yeah.
don't keep it going down
But
and
like-
down.
Because I feel bad. I gotta charge you to cut the cake.
I understand that,
You
but
want to cut the cake myself?
no, you know
No,
what?
no. We want you
You
to.
cut the cake myself, $5.
All right, fine. But here's the question. So if it comes up, if you cut into the
If
fish
I cut
part,
the cake and I show
then
you
he's
the
a girl.
Fish, then he's a girl.
if you cut it into the beef,
Then he's a good boy.
he's a good boy.
Yeah.
He's a good
It's
boy.
pretty logical.
that
Jay.
makes
I
total
mean,
sense,
It makes
Jerry.
sense,
Beef
right?
is a boy, the fish is a girl, and everything's good.
If
Okay.
you find out you're a girl through this cake, Jeremiah,
Yeah,
do you
yeah.
change? Do you change your name, or do you just say
I think my
Jerry? Do you just become Jerry?
I call it a Jerry. I call
Jerry
her-
Watkins.
I call her Ms. Watkins.
Jerry Watkins. Jerry Watkins would be
say-
a beautiful women's
I
name.
love it, Jerry Watkins.
I think
Jerry Watkins is a beautiful name for a beautiful girl. And you know what? If you come up to me and say, listen, I want you to cut my hair, Jerry Watkins, I say, Miss Watkins, I cut you hair.
Okay.
You know how much I cut you hair for? Because
How much?
you changed from a man to a woman, $4.
Wait.
okay,
You
I
keep-
come on.
cut it down to $4.
What?
It's gonna be good.
You keep cutting prices. You keep cutting
I
cakes.
don't
You keep
care.
cutting hair. You're out of
I
control,
cut
Steve.
everything.
You cut it. You're
You
cutting
got a
to.
baby? You gonna have a baby?
Yeah.
You gotta have a baby boy?
Yeah.
I cut his penis for you. I cut
Hey,
it off for
You're
him.
gonna do a bris?
You know how much?
Huh.
$3.
$3?
Oh,
All right,
man.
Steve.
Penis.
Steve,
You
we
gotta
gotta let you go,
self-respect.
All right,
man.
I gotta go. I gotta go cut some more stuff.
All right,
yeah.
thanks.
All right, thanks for
right.
calling
You
in.
two are cut-ups. I'll talk to you later.
All right, well, so he's out, but
That is an unbelievable.
because he kept cutting prices, you almost
You
don't
know,
respect
I
it.
almost wondered if I could get him to like
Pay
if I
you
keep listing things,
and
like,
then he would pay you
he
to
would
cut
start
his
paying
own
me
stuff.
to cut
Yeah.
stuff.
You never know. With people like that,
You
all
never
they
know.
want to do is just please the people. And
Yes.
that is something that's missing in society, I feel like.
People wanting to please people.
Just people wanting to do a good job and say, look,
Yeah.
I want your business. If
Well,
I
you know who doesn't? This is it.
if that guy cuts your hair for $7 and does a great job, you're his for life.
This is why you got to go to small businesses. 'Cause
Agreed.
They own the
They
business.
will work with you.
They care about you.
Yeah.
If you
You,
go to,
are the lifeblood of this
if
guy's
you are in some massive
gender reveal
place,
cake company.
right? If there's a massive like national gender reveal cake company,
Mm-hmm.
then they're not going to care. The Johnny manager who's like 18
He
years
doesn't
old.
care.
He's just
Do
doing.
you talking
his
about a
job.
big chain gender reveal cake company?
Yes,
What would some names of the big chain?
Mr. or Mrs. Fields.
There you go.
Oh, that's
See?
great.
And it's all cookie cakes, and you just don't know. Mr. or Mrs. Fields, I'm in. I'm already there.
That's yeah.
That's got you. Kind of can't beat that.
I would call it having your cake and eating it too. Because you can't have it both ways. You can actually have
Yeah.
it both ways here.
If you're
Having your cake and eating it too is a gender reveal cake
for a
company
hermaphrodite,
for hermaphrodites.
That's pretty strong.
I mean,
Both of those are great names.
if that was your reveal,
Or
if your reveal was that this child is a hermaphrodite,
Unbelievable.
is Jamie Lee Curtis.
Mm-hmm.
The cake is made of Activia.
Mm-hmm.
It's just a full.
Just
Yogurt
just
filled
a,
cake.
as soon
poop-inducing cake.
I was saying, as soon as the candles are lit, everyone just starts shitting on the
Just-
spot.
just
Just-
immediately.
And just
Activia flavored cake would.
Oof.
By the way, great gag to do right at a
Oh.
party. An Activia flavored cake.
That's a lot.
so there's the gag, the old gag
it's
at
not
the
your
party
house?
that everyone talked about doing, but no one ever did. Which
Did
was,
you ever do
I'm-
this?
I'm gonna get a keg of beer.
Keg of O'Doul's.
I'm gonna make it
And see
non-alcoholic.
which of my friends acts drunk.
Oh.
See, now you get to see who's really themselves.
Yeah, who's playing?
This
Who's
beer is doing nothing for me.
dude? Yeah, a guy.
should-
All of a sudden,
Can't someone really tell if it's O'Doul's?
Your friend starts becoming like super racist. Like when it's like, dude,
Hey,
it's
man, it's the
O'Doul's,
beer.
man. You
It's
need
the
to
beer.
chill
No,
out,
man, I'm
Hey,
just
man,
a beer.
Here's the thing.
These Mexicans got to get
my
out of
view
here.
of-
But hey,
Whoa, hey,
I
whoa.
can't control it, man. I'm just wasted.
Dude,
you know?
I'm just so sloppy right
Dude,
now.
it's O'Doul's. Jeff, it's O'Doul's.
Wait, what?
Jeff.
It's O'Doul's that we're having here. I don't
gotta
know why
calm
you're.
down.
Don't get me started on the Sicilians.
Stop,
man.
Hey,
slurring
oh,
your
man.
language. There's the guy who made this cake is Sicilian, for Christ's sake.
Oh man, wait, he cuts prices, right?
Yeah.
He cuts prices,
Oh,
he
yeah.
cuts hair, he cuts
Cuts
kids'
cakes.
dicks. He's unbelievable.
Oh yeah. Speaking of dicks, don't get me started on the
You're
Jews.
not drunk.
Dude,
I'm so drunk
No,
right
you're
now.
not. You're
this,
not.
This
This is O'Doul's. It's non-alcoholic
Non-alcoholic
beer.
Beg pardon?
You ever have a Coors Cutter?
Yeah.
Okay, that's
So that's a
non-alcoholic beer. It's a non- You said it.
Dude,
in-
I was puking for 3 days after I had a
You were-
Coors Cutter.
I'm sorry, you were puking?
I was puking for 3 days.
Hey,
Pronounced puking.
he's fine.
He's not fine.
He's putting on an act.
Dude, I had a Red Bull once and I was up for 9 days.
That's not
It's
possible.
not true.
It's
not
definitely
true, nor is it
A
possible.
Red Bull cannot keep you up for 9.
You know,
One Red Bull keeps you up for
It
9
gave
days.
me wings, but it also might have been the meth I took.
Okay, well,
There-
that is it.
On our old show, Cheap Seats, there was a guy. Michael Showalter played Ron Parker.
Mm-hmm.
It was Cheap Seats without Ron Parker. And there was one line he did. I was recently showing it to my son. It made me laugh so hard just by the emphasis of the word that he's like, I'm going to go to the staff fridge and I'm going to grab myself a Red Bull. The emphasis on
dude.
bull, making bull the operative word of that phrase made me laugh. So it was the dumbest, non-joke, silly thing to do. But I was laying in bed with my son, showing it on the phone, and I thought I was not going to be able to catch my breath ever again. I was laughing so hard at that.
That is
What-
Showalter
you-
being Showalter.
That's I love
So
it whenever people who are usually like not familiar or something, or sometimes elderly people put the emphasis on the wrong.
That's
my favorite
But that's
thing
what he was doing. He was
Yeah,
trying
yeah.
to be an out of touch. He was trying to be
Exactly.
cool, but he was out of touch.
Red Bull.
I'm
You
going to
know,
go to the
that's
staff
how
fridge.
you
I'm going to
get
grab myself a Red Bull.
Who has ever put the emphasis on that? It's perfect.
I think that's a first.
It made me so happy. It's so funny how little things like that just make you.
Dude, one of my favorite memories of you guys is whenever we were doing Moon Tower in Austin, and for I don't know how long, maybe at least 5 minutes straight, we were all singing "Bowie Died of Space AIDS."
Yeah, well,
It was the opening to.
it was not the opening. It was the musical interlude.
It's the music interlude on
Moon Age Daydream.
Moon Age Daydream, which was the song we
I'm
did.
an alligator.
I'm a mama, papa coming for you.
So fun. And then there's just a point where it just keeps playing and keeps playing, and he goes, all right, freak out, all far out, and all this stuff. And then we just started getting an entire crowd of people to be like, Bowie died. He did not die of cancer. He died of space AIDS. Everybody, Bowie died of space AIDS. 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 And so it's just, and got a whole, literally the entire Antones to sing that. And it was an homage to him. I mean, look, he's probably the only guy who's ever died of space AIDS.
Yeah.
And
Oh wow, Bowie's calling in right now.
Bowie's calling in right now.
Hello.
Hi,
David Bowie, are you calling from the great beyond?
From the great beyond.
I'm calling from the great beyond.
Oh man, can I
First
ask?
of all, can we just say we're enormous fans of yours?
Huge.
Thank you so much, loves.
I even loved Lazarus. Can I just say that your final, the last?
I loved you on
album?
Extras. I thought you were great on
Yeah, you
Extras.
were really good on extras.
What did you think of my film, The Labyrinth?
Oh, I thought it was great.
It was
I
a
keep
little
wanting to show-
confusing. It was like a maze
It's like
that I
he's trying to
couldn't
get
quite
through it, and
finish.
it's sometimes at times we couldn't get through it.
It's actually a metaphor for life.
Yeah, of
Yes,
course it is.
sure it is,
Of course
sure
it
it
is. And now death. So can you describe what the great beyond is like? Is it what's there? Like
Oh,
what?
here am I sitting in my tin can.
So you're in
literally
space.
inside of it. You're in space.
I'm far above the world. Did you know that planet Earth is blue?
Is there
And then
anything you
once
can
go-
do? Is there
no,
anything?
there's nothing
Okay,
I can
good.
do.
See, that's the thing. All right,
Dang, 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 dang.
Oh man, dude, this is so great to talk to you about all this stuff. So, all the
Did
thing-
you? Well, I think the question is, a lot of people thought you died of cancer. We obviously posited
I
and answered.
died of space AIDS.
That's what we thought. You contracted AIDS not from a blood transfusion, not from sex with a man, not from sex with a woman. Although all those things you've experienced multiple times in your life.
I was smiling from the great beyond when I heard all of you singing in Austin.
That
Right,
felt
and
so
then
good.
did
You put the ass in asteroids.
You really put the ass. You put the ass in asteroids.
You put the ass in asteroids.
And you took one for the team. And truthfully, we will never ever fully understand space AIDS until we get some sort of. We're going to take a step by asking you.
Space AIDS.
Oh yeah, dude.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So,
Is that one of your sponsors today? Is Jeremiah still here? I don't know where he is, but I don't know.
This
if
show brought to you by Space AIDS.
thank you. I mean, the fact that Space AIDS is sponsoring this show.
it's sort of the intergalactic disease-based Squarespace.
Yes, it is.
it is
It's Squarespace AIDS.
Squarespace AIDS.
Squarespace AIDS.
Thank you, Bowie. If I was,
Yes, not a problem. They've been sponsoring me for a while.
of course they have.
Yeah.
Of course they have.
why
Well,
not?
I'm looking for more sponsors, by the way. I'm doing a new podcast from the great beyond.
you're doing a podcast in the Great
We
Beyond?
should do it with you. We should call it Ziggy Sklardust.
Can we do that?
Ziggy Sklar
Oh, dude. Can we please do that, Jay? It's
Ziggy-
just us and David Bowie from the Great Beyond suffering, or
Ziggy Sklardust is quite the name, fellas. I enjoy it quite a bit.
Ziggy played a sklar. Come on, I mean,
Ziggy played a sklar.
jamming with Jason and Randy.
And a monster
And-
from Mars.
Jason and Randy and a couple of sklars. Come on,
He
please.
played those guitars.
I mean, listen, I
He
think
played those two Sklars.
I think Ziggy Sklardust would be a great podcast. I want to. What would we talk about, Jay? I mean, or Bowie, whoever wants to answer that question.
I mean, I think we should talk about sports because no one knew sports.
I don't know much about sports,
But you could learn.
I can maybe learn.
Right. You can learn about sports and you can learn about space sports.
I can learn. There's actually a lot of space sports out here.
What kind of space sports are there?
Well, there's interdimensional star wrangling.
An
That sounds
interdimensional
fun.
star
I'm
wrangling.
in a star wrangling fantasy league, and I want
I
you
have
to know I've al-
Zaxi. Should I be sitting Zaxios this week or should I be playing her?
You should be playing her.
Okay, I'll put her in.
She's a good flex option.
She is a good flex option. I appreciate it.
Who are some of your choices for your intergalactic star wrangling team?
I got Zaxxon starting.
Zaxxon starting.
I've got Nucleus.
Nucleus.
Nucleus. Well, Nucleus is a backup, but you know what? The guy who's in front of him is on a bye.
I was thinking of playing.
I am by.
You
All
are
right,
by. You're on a bye every
I'm
week.
on a bye every week.
All right, good. Thank God. And I've got Plutonon. I was gonna start Plutonon.
Plutonon, I dropped him last season
Oh,
because
yeah.
the calf string incident.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember
was
that.
bad.
And also, you were carrying one too many Wranglers. You got to have like.
That
yes,
was because of the.
What is Bowie doing right now? Is he reaching into his bag of tricks?
Bowie's learning how to speak in a different way. And what I first of all,
Oh God. Space AIDS can really affect a star wrangling team and a star wrangling fantasy team, and it can.
and as
Space AIDS is a serious condition.
it is, and,
Disclaimer, after listening to this podcast, you may encounter space AIDS.
and the thing about it is this: if we continue to, think it's not real and think it's a joke, and
right,
don't
we're
have
only
fun
going
with
to
it,
see more and more cases of space AIDS.
people might be mad that we're talking about this. We're bringing attention to it.
Corey Haim, space AIDS.
Space AIDS affects 4 out of 5 intergalactic beings.
Okay, so Corey Haim, space
Space
AIDS.
AIDS.
The guy who
Space AIDS.
the guy who guarded Jupiter's sixth moon.
Space
Space
AIDS.
AIDS. O.J. Simpson
Space
AIDS.
AIDS. Matt Lauer did not have space AIDS.
gave it to another woman. He was a carrier.
He was a carrier
It
of
was
space
dormant
AIDS.
within him.
And
Gave
then
it
he
to
locked
someone.
the,
Pressed
he
the
locked
button
the door
on
behind him, pressed the door on his desk, and
button
gave
on
him-
the desk, and then gave someone
space,
space.
gave space AIDS
And
to,
that's-
to an intern, which was
And that's not
nice.
fair.
Have you guys seen that Nanette special?
I have not seen it
I've
fully
seen
all the
some
way
of it,
through.
yeah.
What'd you think, Jay?
I saw
Space
just the beginning.
AIDS.
Yeah, no, I don't think there was.
I don't think that was it. No, I don't think that. Yeah, I love the discussion that is it comedy or is it not comedy? Yeah, it's whatever you want it to be.
And
By the
that's
way,
this. By the way, the same conversation people have about space AIDS. Is it space
space
AIDS
AIDS or is it not space AIDS?
Is
you know?
space AIDS AIDS? What is it?
What
we
is
don't
it?
know.
And we're like, it's.
Man, I watched that in that special. I got space AIDS.
You got space AIDS
there's
from
no
watching
way
it.
to
There's
get
no
it
way
from
to
just
get it
watching
transmitted
it.
straight from the thing. Here's what I would say to people: it's a special, so it is special, and that's all you can say about it. Right? It's special. It is a special.
Yes, I've rather enjoyed that special.
Of course you did, because it was about
It was breaking
Expressing
barriers.
oneself, breaking barriers.
breaking barriers, breaking things down, maybe tickling people in an area they don't want to be tickled at. I bet you like a good tickle. Yeah, where are
I
you
love a
ticklish?
good tickle.
Are you ticklish on the tip of your nose, Bowie?
I might be.
There we go.
there it
The tip of
is.
his coke nose. He's a little
Actually,
ticklish.
You know, I'm also ticklish on my 14th vertebrae.
Okay.
I didn't know that.
With a feather.
Oh, nice.
Wow.
With a feather on the 14th vertebrae, that to me,
New album by Bowie.
Bowie.
Feather on the 14th vertebrae.
I love it.
Stick it in your ear and start to say, Bowie died of space AIDS. Bowie died of space AIDS. Bowie died of space AIDS. Great album.
That's fantastic.
We lost Bowie. I don't know where he went.
You know
Lost
what?
him, but you know what? He's with us at
he's
all
with
times.
us at all
He-
times.
he'll
I
never
feel like
leave
you
my
lose
heart.
him, but we lost connection with him. But
He'll
we'll
never leave our
forget him.
hearts.
That's
Yeah.
right. That's
Let's
fine.
get into this next segment.
Let's do it.
Fanning out.
Fanning out. Questions from fans.
I reached out to people on the social medias and asked them if they could ask the Sklar Brothers any questions.
I love it.
What would it be? You know, it's very funny. Out of any guest that I've had on this show,
You had the least.
No. The most sexual questions out of any guest. What? And I went through. I might ask you
And
one
you
or
had
two.
Jenna Jameson, and
And
all
I
people
had-
wanted to talk about is how she's dropping the weight. She does 80 pounds just came off. It's just the weight just drops off with her paleo diet.
Kaleo.
Man, she got space AIDS.
No, that ain't possible.
She doesn't have space age.
That ain't right, man.
Space age.
Come on, man.
So I'll go with some non-sexual ones
go
first,
for it.
and then so at Imminent Pulsar on Twitter. Do you compete against each other to be the funnier/healthier brother? If so, is it harmful or beneficial?
Funnier and healthier are two diametrically opposed
Yeah, if
concepts.
you're funny,
Yeah.
you're usually pretty
You're sick.
unhealthy. I don't think remember when Joe Piscopo just worked out all the time? You're like, oh, he worked out all the funny out of him.
Oh yeah,
He lost
that was
being
so
funny.
weird.
It's like
It's like he banged the funny into the babysitter. So I think for us, Randy and I, because our fates are tied to each other, if either one of us is being funny, it ends up helping the two of us. And so we kind of come from this mentality. We never had a competitive streak in our
I mean, I don't
relationship.
sit around. And by the way, you know it if you just feel it inherently. You can't make yourself feel competitive. You
can't force the competitiveness, and you can't force it out of you.
right.
I think if you are naturally competitive, then you
I've met naturally competitive. We know competitive people who just can't handle anybody else's success or anything.
I'm super competitive, but I'm extremely logical. If that
Yeah.
makes sense.
Yeah,
Like,
totally makes sense.
I'm like a go-getter, and like if I play somebody in sports, like I want to win, but I'm not gonna be like I'm not gonna ruin a relationship over losing or whatever. You know what I mean?
correct.
Yeah.
Correct.
I have a strong sense of justice. So if I feel like someone is unjustly being taken down or an injustice is happening, that's when my competitive dander gets raised, and then I can't allow anything to slip by. I have to fight back.
Yeah.
So there's a little bit of a fight in me that is that way, but never really on the two of us. Now we demand a lot out of each other in the way that you would. I mean, you probably are very hard on yourself, or you want yourself. If you're not up to the level that you demand of yourself. Then you probably are like, what am I doing? I gotta get together. We actually are that way with each other, and maybe that's because we share DNA.
Well, I think I mean definitely it's part of that, but I have a music comedy duo with Pat Reagan, and and the same way with working with anybody who I've been in duos or trios with, whether it's like The Wave, whether it's Reagan and Watkins, or working with like Josh Adam Myers on the Comedy Jam.
Yep.
The way I talk to those guys, because we're so closely working, I've gotten more mad at them than anybody else.
Probably
I've worked
than your
with.
wife.
Oh,
Yeah.
absolutely.
Yeah.
I've never
don't
talked
treat
to
her
my
that
wife
way.
the way that I've talked to like Pat Reagan or something about something creative or
Yep.
after a performance. Like,
Right.
what was
yeah,
that?
Yeah, because
exactly.
you demand a lot out of that.
Like
person.
if the other person.
What if after sex with your wife, you're like, what was that?
What was
in there?
that?
Why
What
did
was
you
that all
bail?
about?
Get the fuck on the stick. Don't bail on
Why
me.
did you bail on that? We
Get
worked
on
that
this-
out.
You didn't commit.
Literally get on the stick.
Get on the stick. Jesus.
Space Age.
Space Age.
Stick out.
Now, do you guys? I mean, I know you probably auditioned for a lot of stuff together, but do you guys go against each other for certain roles? Is that hard to not get competitive with that kind of stuff?
You know what ends up I don't think we get competitive, but we do, like, in a weird way. You want to succeed, and then in other ways, success creates more issues and problems. Like I booked a pilot for True TV a couple years ago, and he didn't, and we both went up for the same role. And then once I got it, even though it didn't become a show, but had it become a show, then we would have had to deal with my
That would have been
availability for
crazy.
other stuff and what
Yeah.
we were doing. It was just that was stressful. It put a new level of stress on the two of us. I did. Curb Your Enthusiasm, and then once I did that, and I wasn't like a regular character that could bring in another person, I just was a guy in a shop who fought with Larry. That then meant that Randy probably couldn't do the show, and that was kind of a bummer. And so there are certain moments like that, and I think we wrote a roast joke about it when we were roasting each other on the roast battle. I said every time we've actually gone up against each other and one of us has gotten the role, it's been me. And I was like, so Randy will get another acting role on his own when Kevin Spacey gets a Kids' Choice Award.
It could happen. It could totally happen. It could
But
totally
no,
happen.
but there is something that's sort of interesting. I don't know why that is. Maybe I just had better performances in those moments because we both had decent performances and things, and we've done things separate from each other. But
that can be competitive in a weird way, but then
it ends up being more like
Well, it becomes
logistically
problem.
a nightmare.
Yeah, logistically, but it's also like since you guys do an act together and you have such similar sensibilities, I'm sure like kind of like, well, what was the thing? You're more like a curiosity kind of
right,
thing.
or they're just like a lot of times if we both go out for something, we'll cancel each other out. people are like, well, I don't know who to choose between the two of them. So
Yeah,
they're out of it. You kind of
Right.
cancel. So a lot of times we'll go in on roles that for one person and say, what if it was two? And you either get to the very end and it's a different choice from the first one, and if people are creative enough to choose it, you get it, and then you get to do what you want to do, or that's the reason why you don't get it.
Gotcha. That makes sense. At Yay Pizza, my buddy Jared Sova from Kansas City. Do you have any hatred for Kansas City? Is that a real rivalry? Hashtag STL versus KC.
I don't think there is, although I am fascinated with, and we've been to Kansas City, the Kansas City, Missouri.
Dude, whenever I say I'm from
Rivalry.
Kansas City, because I'm on the Kansas side.
You're on the Kansas side. They look down their noses. No,
Dude,
Missouri looks
when-
down their noses at Kansas.
Oh, absolutely.
All the way.
Whenever I say I'm from Kansas City, people are like, "Oh, cool. Which part?" And then I'll be like, "Oh, this side." They're like, "Oh, you're from the Kansas side."
Oh,
Okay.
okay. All right.
Okay.
See, I feel like, and we said this in our stand-up when we were there, that we should build a wall between Kansas City, Kansas, and Kansas City, Missouri.
Not between Mexico and America.
No, you knew we should make pay for it. Mexico, Missouri.
Yeah.
But there you go. Those people are taking our jobs.
They're coming
Caravan.
They're coming up from
caravan
Mexico,
coming
Missouri.
up from Tabletop, Table Rock.
Look, I think
There's a caravan of people coming up from Joplin. We got to stop it. We got to stop what's
Kansas
happening
City
in
has the
Joplin.
worst airport, by the way, in America. It is just a circle of hell. You just start walking around. It's one of those things where
Well, I
you're-
love that you can pull right up to it.
I think it's one of the easiest.
Oh, it's easy,
It's
but then
certainly
like,
easy.
there was a point in time where we were like, "Where's our luggage? Where do we go down to get our luggage?" There's no down. We're like, "Where's our luggage?" Oh, they just threw a bunch of bags like next
Over
to
by
a Starbucks. It's like, where are we in a prison?
Dude,
What's
I don't
happening
know.
here?
And
It's
it
like
may
a
be because I'm
concrete
from
jail.
there, but I love flying in there because it's so easy.
It is easy, but just like it does at times, you're like, should there be like? It does feel like you're in like a prison. It's like all concrete. It's a circle. You feel like you're walking the yard.
Like, where's the baggage claim? Ask the guard up in the crow's nest.
Literally, like, wait, should people be working? should
Like a
people be
spotlight running on you looking for luggage?
Should people be working out with free weights next to Starbucks? That feels.
I
bizarre
think
to
a
me.
guy is bench pressing my luggage right now.
Stewardess said when you get out of the airport, punch the biggest guy you see
Yeah,
immediately and just
she
let them
literally
know
said,
you're
"Don't
crazy.
be anyone's bitch." That should never be come out of a
They said
stewardess's
before
mouth.
you get into this airport, we have to take
That's
your
actually
shoelaces.
Kansas City Airport's slogan. Don't be anybody's
Yeah,
bitch.
they took our shoelaces when we got there. It was like they didn't want us to hang ourselves.
Dude, they gave us Velcro issued shoes. It was
That
wild.
was.
They said, "Here, fill this pillowcase with Coke cans and just start swinging." When
I
you
just
get out.
I just started working at the Kansas City Library.
There was in-flight ramen on the plane.
I found God before I found my suitcases.
Exactly.
That's-
I was like,
Guys,
just
in
stay away from
Kansas City Airport.
stay away from the Aryans.
I found God before I found a shoe shop.
What is going on there?
All right.
So there is no rivalry.
There's not
I mean,
really.
Not really.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
Kansas City beat us in the '85 World Series. If there was instant
Any-
replay,
yeah.
we would have won. So yes, you feel a little bit of anger, but the Cardinals have won a bunch since then. So who cares?
Yeah.
And this is what I will say lastly about Kansas City. Kansas City to me always felt like a little more west. So it was a little cooler. It was a little more open than St. Louis. So a little more like Wild
Do you,
Westy.
do you like the barbecue better in St. Louis or Kansas City?
St. Louis doesn't really have.
Yes, they do.
They
Pappy's
do.
is great,
Yeah,
and
it's
so
good.
is now Salt and Smoke. That's
Yeah,
great.
Salt and Smoke is great.
I've heard
That's
a lot about
different-
Salt
really
and
good.
Smoke,
And then we went to when we did which one did we go to? Arthur Bryant's.
Arthur Bryant's.
Yeah, and just people yelling at you.
Yeah, just people yelling at you.
May I take your order?
Yes, you may.
Just
Yeah.
please stop yelling at me.
Here we go.
My favorite at Arthur Bryant's is like
Was it Arthur Bryant?
no, on the menu is the logo
Is that the
is
one
a
we
guy.
went to?
Yeah, the logo is a guy in
a top hat,
top hat and tux and like spats. Like when did this
and
guy?
white gloves.
White
you know
gloves.
the way you wear white gloves to go eat
To
barbecue.
barbecue.
Yeah.
My oh my, here are my barbecue eating gloves.
me, I need to pick up my barbecue.
I have a small query. Is my barbecue
Is
ready?
my barbecue ready?
Big pardon.
Extra sauce.
Where is my pulled pork sandwich? I would love to feast
My
on it.
gloves are on. I'd like to eat it.
Yes, forget the moist towelettes. I have white gloves instead.
Will you hold these for me?
Oh man, it was so good though. Yeah, we did like barbecue there. And the other thing we loved there is there was like
Wasn't there like level 39? That's a great.
there was the Negro Leagues Museum,
Yeah.
which if you like hockey, that is the
I
museum
actually want to
for
get
you.
one of those Kansas City Monarch hats.
Oh my god,
Those are
yes.
dope.
So cool.
Those are really
It's
cool.
Jazz
cool.
museum.
Yeah.
It's cool. It's just a cool area.
I like this question. At Morrison James, if Jeremiah had a twin, what would his name be?
Adolf.
Adolf Watkins.
Adolph Watkins.
Jeremiah and
Jamal.
I think
Jeremiah and Jamal Watkins would be so great.
Jeremiah and Jamal would be like a white jazz duo.
Jeremiah and Jamal.
This is Jeremiah and Jamal.
And you guys would only play like outdoor festivals in Telluride.
Jamal.
So Jamal
Jazz brunch with Jeremiah and Jamal.
Jazz brunch with Jeremiah and Jamal.
Now that
Come
is
on, jazz brunch with Jeremiah and Jamal. I'm in.
That's a sexy podcast right
It
there.
is sexy.
I love it.
At Dirk Robert 65 on Instagram, which one of you guys got laid first, and was the other one jealous?
I got laid
Randy.
first. I got laid first in high school. Now that I have like a daughter who's about to be in high school, I'm like, that was too early, right?
Yeah, I didn't get laid till after high school.
Yeah, high school. Were you jealous? No. Nah, you want to experience that.
Were you?
stuff.
Were
Curious,
you? I
I
mean,
would say.
yeah, you were probably just like, what happened?
Yeah,
like what? Like
it
how
was
did that go down?
amazing.
Like after
I was just like, oh my God. I was excited and I didn't want all the details because I don't know why that kind of grossed me out. Or not grossed me out, but I didn't want to know
not
too
something
much.
we just
It wasn't
shared.
like we weren't sherry
We were
like
private
that.
about that stuff.
like it happens. You're like, trust me, brother. Nothing's gonna change. The next day of school, you're wearing a leather jacket.
Yeah,
your hair
hair
is
slicked back.
Do I
Jay's
know
like,
you?
I was like, Jay's like, hey, Rand. I'm like, what? Who's this guy?
Who's it? What?
Who's this Joker?
Where?
Suddenly have an accent.
Yeah.
Who's this Joker?
Hey, you want to know some facts? Hit me up later.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Won't
I'm
you-
sorry, I don't talk to kids.
It was, yeah.
Hey, you're gonna have to replace the New Balance shoes you're wearing. They
Yeah.
disgust me.
Those are old balance, if you know what I mean.
Those are out of balance. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, it wasn't like.
Someday
I would
become
say
Joey Coco Diaz.
I would say that if I was not sexually active at all, I think it would have been bizarre. I mean, but I wasn't like I wasn't. So I mean, I was still
Knew it would be a
experienced-
matter of time.
Yeah, it was like I was.
I had a girlfriend in Israel. It was the time we were out of the country. It was like actually
That's
great.
that's kind of what it would like.
So
None of the
because you're like
circumstances
in a
were
dorm
right.
room, not in your own house. Your
Yeah,
parents,
yeah.
there's like not figuring out how. Got to figure out when the parents are gone, or how can we make this happen?
And you know what? It was a time because we're old. I mean, this is like mid to late 80s.
This was the 20s.
This was the late
Things
80s.
were different.
The
All right?
roaring 80s.
roaring 80s.
Before the iPhone. So it was a time when
Desktop computers were the rage.
Oregon Trail was a real thing. All right, so
She was working as a cocktail waitress
In a
in a cocktail bar when I met her.
that much was true. All right, so Randy and I, but it was a different time in the sense that there was zero social media, there was zero pressure. Like the pressure
kind of more anonymous in a great way.
Like not everyone was in your business, so it became about the two people, and it was like, is the person you're involved with ready for something like this? And if they were, then it could have happened when you were 15. But if you weren't involved with the kind of people who were ready to take that step and you weren't there yourself and there wasn't the right opportunity to do it, it might not happen all throughout high
It's
school.
kind of like it was like summiting Everest for us. Yeah, all the conditions had to be right, or else
you can
like
still
someone
die.
could die.
But that's funny because that's what we say about comedy too. Tell me if you agree with that. Not to make a tangent, but we say performing stand-up comedy is like summiting Mount Everest. All the conditions could be perfect, and you can still die. You gotta.
It's very true.
And I think we say that when we see people doing comedy, not to make this about that, and they're not doing well. I'm never like, that's a bad comedian. I'm always like, comedy's harder than you thought it was.
Oh, dude, whenever the room is sometimes perfect and everybody's killing, you can go up there and say the first line wrong and your set is done sometimes.
Or it either
or
happens
you follow, or if you're in between two killers.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I remember we had met him in Portland. This is before he got huge, and he opened for us, and then midway through the week we switched him to the feature because he was so good. Ron Funches, and then he was like just about to have he kind of was done with his half hour and was like about to have his hour, so he had the most killer half hour ever, and we had just finished an hour, and so we're like, almost like you take a bad haircut, you got to let it grow out a little bit, and you're on the first beginnings of your next hour. And we brought him up with us to San Francisco. We couldn't follow him. He was just, and by the way, his comedy and his style and his energy so compatible with ours in so many ways. But like, he was just joke, incredible, and we were finding our way, and it was like a very hard weekend for us because he is so good and he should be closing out shows anyway. But it was like, yeah, all the conditions seemed perfect. This guy killed. They're ready to go, and then we get up there and it's like not happening.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. Happens.
Anyway.
At Sean Bads on Instagram, what podcast do you guys listen to?
Oh my God. What do we listen to?
I listened to this one.
Yeah, listen to this one. I also listen to I think the ones I listened to lately, I listened to the 30 for 30 6-part series on Bikram yoga, and it was unreal. It blew my mind. I thought it was amazing.
I didn't realize they had a podcast.
Yeah,
They did.
they
Listen
do, and it's great.
Yeah, we listened to Serial. I listened to S-Town. I listened to Missing Richard Simmons, which was crazy and insane. I love those sort of.
I like
there was
Harmontown.
Harmontown's really
I like
good.
WTF. I like You Made It Weird. I like
I love The Dollop.
The
Oh my
Dollop
God.
is great. Yeah, it's like whatever I can get to.
My Favorite Murder.
My Favorite
So
Murder.
fun.
Or sometimes I'll listen to a lot of, like, during the fall, I'll listen to like Michigan football podcasts.
Yeah, I like a very specific podcast about like Michigan sports. This whole fall, I've been listening to like consuming every single podcast because it was really fun. And I think Rogan's a phenomenal interviewer and just
Fascinating.
like
It's a
fascinating.
great podcast.
Great podcast. I mean, it is just
And Segura, Your Mom's House. is
Your Mom's
also
House,
great.
which we've done, and it's just great stuff.
There's a lot of great stuff out there. I do it when I'm like going to take a hike, and I'm like, okay, even if this podcast is an hour and a half, I'm gonna put it at 1.5 speed.
Yeah.
I'm gonna take this hike up over this mountain, and
So
I'm gonna
fun.
listen to people being funny, and it's gonna not remind me that I'm
It is
exercising.
this balloon that carries you. I
Totally.
fully understand how people consume our podcasts. You know that it.
I
helps
love
them
listening
through.
to podcasts on drives
The best.
or like when I'm
Flights.
working on stuff for my computer or whatever.
Flights,
Flights, drives, and exercise. That's podcast.
which is
for
the
me.
new Steve Martin, John Candy movie.
Oh,
They're gonna
may he
use
rest in peace.
May he rest in
Nice.
peace.
Not John Candy, Steve,
Steve
Martin. I
He's
know
not
he's
dead.
not dead.
We
I
just want him to get a good night's sleep.
having kids. I'll tell you that a good night's sleep.
He's
is
got a
worth lot.
dozen kids, right? They're cheaper by the dozen.
Yeah, I think.
Hey, tonight we have Steve Martin on the show. He
Stay with
has
us.
a
Nate Tiny Archibald will be
dozen.
farting in my mouth.
kids. Oh, that's no. It's his new movie. It's cheaper by the dozen. My
Cheaper by the
mistake.
dozen.
Here we are.
Weird.
Andrew Jonah Price on Instagram. Who's the biggest troublemaker growing up?
Oh, we were good kids.
Good kids.
We did not
great
cause
kids.
trouble.
That was a good.
We
kid.
were good kids. We loved our parents, and we just sort of like understood. They weren't always stressed, but like we didn't have money, and they worked really hard. So it was like, man, they're working too hard for us to try and fuck with them. But like, I don't know. We did get into some shit. Like we actually avoided.
We were lucky. We
were drinking at age 14 and like out by this lake, by this apartment
caught
complex,
by
got
the
caught by
cops.
the cops, and like thankfully we were just I don't know.
I mean, you're having sex as a teenager.
I was, man.
And then,
We-
you know, as soon as that happened, your voice changed.
Yeah.
it totally dropped.
Oh, hey, man.
That's my voice.
Hey, man, I had sex recently, and
You're 16, Randy.
Jason, you a nerd,
Yeah,
man.
you don't
I didn't
understand
notice
it, bro.
Hey, man, you don't even know what this is about at all, man.
I
He has
don't.
no idea. No
That's the
idea.
thing.
He's got no clue.
Tell me what it's about.
Well, you can't know until
Man,
you know.
you can't know until you know.
Can't know until you know.
Can't know until you know is
Thank
all
you.
I'm saying.
Thank you, 16-year-old voice of me. Thank you. Tell him that he can't know until he knows.
Man, I'm the 16-year-old voice of Randy, right? And
Right
there's
after
a lot
sex.
of things that you can't know until you know, okay?
Tell him how soft the walls of a woman's vagina is.
Okay.
He can't know, though.
You
It-
can't know, though.
Thank
I
you.
was about to tell you how
Thank you.
soft and how plushy and how
Just
velvety and how
beautiful.
pillowy they are.
They're beautiful.
Man, one time
Because I'm imagining like a thinly sliced but really nice like sashimi.
have
Like
you ever been inside a bologna waterbed
No,
before?
come on. 16-year-old
You never
me.
been inside
That's
one of
not
those?
what it's like, 16-year-old voice.
All
of
right,
me.
maybe.
You're asking him to get in the mind framework of things that it doesn't relate to.
okay.
you ever slit open a rabbit?
You ever slit open a rabbit?
Man, that sounds like a serial killer.
You
Kind of
ever
thing.
slit open a rabbit and just stuck your dick in it? I mean, that's just asking.
I mean, you know, you don't know till you know. You know what I'm saying? You don't know until you know.
You don't know until you know. Thank
All
you,
right?
16-year-old
And
voice.
now
of
you
me.
know.
By the way, to me, if I ever smoke Snoop's weed, that is what
Is
he
it-
would
okay,
sound
so
like to me.
By the way, I did smoke Snoop's weed. Roast Battles Season 2, we were shooting at House of Blues. Snoop Dogg.
I was in the green room.
You're in the green
I was
room.
literally in that circle.
Snoop Dogg's there, and he's like, Snoop Dogg's got a joint, and he's passing around a joint. Meanwhile, I watched him smoke 6 of those throughout the taping. Okay, so fat, like a Louisville Slugger.
Yeah.
And it comes to me, and you do not pass it. You got to take it. If Snoop hands it to you, because in my brain, I'm like, Snoop's weed is so good, it probably came from a plant that was like came from Bob Marley's grave. You know what I mean? Like that strain is what was then replanted and redone. So he's got that. I took 2 puffs, and as I was driving home from,
You were in a car service. You weren't driving.
as I was going home in a car
He was
service.
so high.
No, I was not
He
driving.
hired a car service.
He hired a car service.
I was so high. I had a car
How high
service.
was he?
I
Okay.
Called
actually,
BLS limo.
I fell asleep in the trunk of a BLS limo.
No, and I get in the car service, and by the time we got to Sunset and La Brea, which is only like
A mile away.
mile and a half from where we were, I had forgotten where we were, what time of day it was, what we were doing, what I had just done. It was unbelievable how
What time period?
Yes, I was like, "What are we in the Renaissance?
Who
What's
is
happening?"
president now?
It was insane, and I was like, "Man, I just watched him smoke 6 of these, and I kind of don't even know where we are."
How does he communicate?
So anyway, if you smoke Snoop's weed, you sound like the 16-year-old voice of me.
Yes, that's right.
No, that's I was actually I was in that circle in that room, and I was like, I don't smoke, so I was like, it was one of those moments where I was like,
You should have.
Is this it? And I was like, he went like this. I was like, I'm good, thanks, man.
Yeah, dude. I did not say that. I said I'm gonna smoke.
If that's not a Dare commercial, I don't know what is. Hey,
Snoop hands it to you.
Look at how strong Jeremiah was.
for nothing. What have I done?
nothing, man. Nothing. I say nothing, man.
At Brant Hamilton, what is your single weirdest interaction with Adam Mckay?
Oh my God.
I love Adam.
First of all,
McKay.
every interaction that we've ever had with him has been amazing. The dude is the nicest, most generous. You know who Adam
Funniest.
McKay is, director of Anchorman and obviously Academy Award-winning director.
He's got the new Dick Cheney movie coming out called Vice. It's
Dude,
unreal.
I am so excited
so
to
that's
see
his
that.
movie. He did The Big Short. He's so
I literally,
talented.
just to go off that trailer, whenever I saw it, I literally got chills whenever it revealed the names of in the credits that it was Christian Bale.
Oh, yeah,
in that
as
I
Dick
literally
Cheney.
was like, what?
He's amazing. So every time is great. So Adam McKay asked us to go to Vegas. with
Cheney
him.
is basically the Penguin from Batman.
Right. So
I'm the president now. I'm the president.
You do what I
so
say.
he
He starts eating fish.
You do what I say.
is it a fish cake or a anyway? So McKay asked us to come to Vegas, which we're not big Vegas people, Jay and I. I never really
Do
understood.
you like
it.
Vegas?
No.
So like
I enjoy it for 1 day, 2 days at the very most.
You know what?
It's too repetitive for me.
So it's very repetitive, and you know what? Gambling is a really weird. I have a weird relationship with gambling because I can't enjoy. Like it ruins my trip if I lose money. Like I literally am like,
Yep, I think
it's-
about it too much.
It's so hard for me to earn this money to sit down at a table and in 5 minutes throw away $1,000 or $600 or $400. It actually makes me go, this whole trip sucks. I hate everything about this place. And I should be able to just, toss some money around. But it's like, if you
The
lose it in
loss.
5 minutes.
I think you have to have so much money
That
for
you
it to
don't
be
care.
fun
Yeah.
that you literally don't care if you lose like 10 grand or whatever. You're
Yeah,
like,
like,
oh,
I'm gonna bring
it's a wild weekend or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah, you have to be able to have enough
10 grand.
capital.
There are people who lose like $2
$50
million
grand.
or
Yeah.
50
Or even simply like, but you're saying like in our like sphere. In
That's
our
still
realm.
like my poor person frame
Yeah.
of thought. Like $10,000.
No,
No,
I
but,
mean,
but that is really within
there
the
are
sphere.
poker
of-
hands that are the buy-in is 10 grand.
Yeah, it's
So
crazy.
I mean, or even blackjack.
I do
hands.
slots.
Yeah, I mean, so slots or sluts? Okay, so we went with McKay to
Man, I do slugs.
There we go,
Hey,
16-year-old me.
Randy.
So we go to do and host McKay's fantasy NBA draft with his friends, and we did. We ran it. We ran the draft and did
Oh, dude.
comedy in front of his buddies and him, and it was. He was so touched that we came and he put us up there and did it, and then at the end he was like, when they finished, I mean, it was like a suite at the MGM, and we're upstairs, and lobster delivered to the. It was it was phenomenal.
So much fun,
and steaks and lobster. It was so great, and I love these guys. All the guys who were there were amazing. And then afterwards, he was like, "Hey, let's head down to the casino, just me and him." He was like, "And Jay, I don't know you." You're like, "I'll meet you there." It's like, "Hey, let's head down to the casino."
Neil Flynn?
Oh, Neil Flynn and Tom Sharpling. So he's like, "Hey."
That's another podcast I love.
Yeah, it's another one. The best show
Best
on
damn
WM. Oh, so good. Best
I call
show.
it the best show.
It's the best show.
I call it the best damn show.
He like gave me like a thing of like $100 of chips and was like, "Let's go play." And so we went down and played on the don't pass line, which is in craps, which is like the dickiest thing you can do. You're betting on the person.
You're hoping the table all loses.
You're betting to lose. You're betting against. So you
like
bet
you're
that
betting
the guys,
against the roller. You're going to bet they're going to crap out a roll of 7.
So there's a roller just wanting to roll his or her point, and you're betting that he's not going to do it or she's not going to do it. And so you're immediately the villain of the table, and he's doing that, and I'm doing it with him. He's like, "I made so much money doing this last night. I lost $100 like in 3 minutes. I went to the ATM. Bad idea. And pulled out another like $300 and immediately lost $200 of that." I'm like, okay, this is terrible. We go to play Baccarat. I've never played my entire life. Sharpling and Jay come over, and I give what's left of my money to Jay, who then sits down at the Baccarat table. We sit next to these 2 younger Asian women who I thought.
Though there were
older Asian women and then 2 younger, kind of hotter Asian women right next to us, and they're all playing. And I thought and this is how racist I am, I thought the 2 older women were their mothers. And like they had just met each other. But they're like,
your moms are hanging out with you?
Yo, that's crazy.
Yo, your moms is right there.
What my 16-year-old me,
do your moms and you want to hang out?
Do your moms and you play Baccarat together? What's happening on that?
So, no, they were hanging out and they were playing.
Yo, your mom's is here? That's hot as hell, man.
Right.
Man,
Yeah.
Okay, where we go? Oh, wait, why am I being escorted out of this casino? Oh, I'm only 16.
Hang on a second.
Man, I want to hang out, dog, man. That's
16-year-old
wild.
boy's got the boot. So we're playing, and nobody knows how to play Baccarat. Like, nobody. And I feel like we kept asking them all these questions. Now, what happens if you're trying to get a 9, and both of you trying to get a 9, 10? What happens if you get this? And should we stick if we get that? And what happens if we do? We're asking them so many questions.
So
and
whatever we were doing was working.
we started.
I won like $900, and I gave Randy the money that he lost back, and I had $600.
Gave some money to Sharpling so that he could start back up, because Sharpling for some reason was betting against you
Me,
and Mckay.
and I'm like, don't bet
Mckay
against-
makes like $1,000 or like $2,000 in this one like moment, and then Mckay is sitting at the table. He's like, "Now what happens if James Harden is standing near the table? Does that change the betting at all?" And I thought he was just joking because he's so good at delivering a deadpan joke. And then I looked to my right, and there's fucking James Harden, because it is the NBA Summer League, and the NBA teams are playing at the Thomas Mack Center, which is there. So he's there. James Harden's there. He looks over at us, kind of gives us a little nod. James Harden gives us a little nod and then takes off. We're like, holy shit.
He was the best.
So then we go to play poker, and Mckay is like up. So we don't play. Mckay is playing. He's up so much, and he's like, okay. He literally is up a couple $1,000.
And then he goes, "I'm going all in on this thing that he's bluffing about," and they call his bluff, and he loses all of it.
Loses everything. And we're like, oh my God, this is crazy. Meanwhile, all these other NBA players start walking by us to go to Hakkasan. Kevin Durant, JaVale McGee to Hakkasan. We take a picture with JaVale McGee. It's insane. Like, we don't, I guess because we're married and we're just don't go out that often. Like, you don't realize how many people know you and how many people see you out in the world. It's like, it was amazing. It was insane. We were having the best time. We go over to the Hakkasan thing, and we're like, we're never going to get in. I mean, we're never going to get in. We're 4 dudes. That is not who they want.
4 like middle-aged
dude. Like, this is not who they want in there. And one of the dudes who was like in the group of, they're not even bouncers. They're just guys with heads, good looking
They're
dudes.
gonna let us in or what?
That's
What's going on
right,
here?
man.
Man, we're trying to get our D's wet in this club, man.
Thank
Come on.
you. Dip it in. Dip that stick in.
I can't come in here either. I'm 16. All right, I'll see you later. I'll see you on the
16-year-old me
streets.
got kicked out again. So we and he recognized us and got us in. Not only did he get us in, he sets us up like set us
Yeah,
up.
like VIP stat. Yeah.
Meanwhile, on the plane,
bottle service.
bottle
also.
service set up, doing it for us.
And we're like, if they don't ask you if you want the bottle service, they just give it to you, then you don't pay for it, right?
Yeah,
And we're like,
that's the
I
truth.
think that's right.
So they're giving us like bottle service. We're hanging out. This never ever. We see Kevin Durant in the center dancing, taking pictures. People are taking pictures all around him. There was a moment when Adam Mckay was like, I'm going to go up and freestyle rap.
You're like, yes, this is the best night
Like,
ever.
You should
Please.
do that. He gets up there and he's like, he just got up there.
He came back. He was like, "It's too intense up there.
It's
I can't,
too intense.
I
I couldn't
this.
do it.
I can't do
I
this."
was like, that is the craziest thing.
Great
Meanwhile,
call.
we saw people who we had seen on the plane ride out there down, and they had like a little table. We go down, started hanging out with them. It just was. Then we let out as the club lets out at 4 a.m, and
the last song they play on the thing
was the International Players Anthem, which I just love that song, UGK.
UGK.
And that was
How's that go?
That was this, you know that.
I type a text to the girl I'd like to see. That's terrible.
Oh, yeah.
All right. So anyway, so
In
so
every indie movie film trailer.
it's kind of like Andre 3000.
Oh, never mind. I'm thinking of it.
You know what I'm saying. Anyway, so it's like, so they played that. That was the song we came down to initially that night. It just was crazy. We go back to the back red table. The same 2 Asian women are still there.
Welcome to the good life.
We cut in there and we're hanging out with them. They make, we win back more money. We then go to the craps table and like he starts playing and then we're like, it's 6 o'clock. We got to get a half
Our flight is picking us
up
we're
in an
flying back
hour.
in an hour.
So we got to at least get an hour.
And then like go take care of kids all day.
So then we got to like go. It was insane. And we get on the plane. We come back home and I text, I call Mckay's assistant. I'm like, did he ever make it back last night? She's like, no. We don't know where he is. I'm like, holy shit, we lost Adam Mckay.
We're like, check the casino.
Check the casino.
'Cause
He might
that's the
still be
last
there.
place to know.
She comes out and she's like, he was by himself, rolling the craps, betting against himself,
And winning.
I was like, this is the most insane interaction ever. And I mean, we love him, but like it was.
That was the best Vegas night ever. The most fun time we've ever had, with Mckay, and the most like
it
spent
was
with
just,
him.
it was
really
I finally got
magical.
why people love it.
That's awesome. Jerron Horton, he asked in the comment section, he put, y'all twins or not?
Y'all twins.
I love Jerron so much.
So
man.
I have to ask this question because it was crazy how many people asked the same question.
Have
in
we
different
ever
variations.
fucked the same girl?
So many people asked that one as well, and everybody's like wanted to know if you have the exact same penis size. Everybody
Let's
was.
show them, and we'll see what they say.
All right, here, let me see them real quick. Turn around.
I don't know. We never did let me show you.
Measure.
I don't know why, because
You guys never pee next to each other in the toilet like growing up?
I can't
Like
tell.
anything like that?
My guess is that we are probably pretty similar.
Nice.
But like, I have never stared long enough
Like, I'm
to
like,
be
yeah,
like, let me
yeah,
get
nice.
an idea of how long.
We said we weren't competitive.
Yeah.
No, I don't know.
I mean, if my penis is bigger, that's good for the both of us. Just kidding.
good for our career.
Or bookings.
Or bookings at the AVN Awards.
Let's get into this final segment, Sax Talk. Oh, Sax Talk. Alrighty, so you guys are going to share a story of a sexual encounter, and I'm going to follow you with some sax whenever
Okay.
you guys are ready.
Okay.
I mean, since we have never had
I've
one
been married
together,
almost 20 years.
and we also have never had a sexual experience together. I mean, there was that thing. Remember the Coors Light commercial where it was like, and twins?
Mm-hmm.
Which I guess the insinuation there is that
you are going to have sex with twins, which if they touch each other,
then that's incest.
immediately that's incest, and you don't want that.
No. So Randy recently went to Burning Man.
I went to Burning Man, so that oh yeah, took it on down to Burning Man. Went with my wife. I went for 3 nights. She was there for 8. I was at Burning Man, and Jason just doesn't understand because he wasn't there. He'll just never get it.
I'll explain to you. I'll translate for those who didn't go what that means. Randy and his wife went to the desert to do some Molly because they were worried they're getting old.
Okay.
Okay.
So I
Just outside of Reno.
So I go to get my hair washed one morning, which is just something you do at Burning Man. There's like, oh, we're going to go wait in line to get our hair washed. And so I went with a couple friends, people from my camp. We went, people I just met when I just got there. And we're waiting in the area to get our hair washed, the scalp massaged, as it were, which is just, a scalp massage. It is so sexy, so sweet. Hands massaging the
Hey, I wash you hair.
Hey, I wash you hair. It was Steve. Is that Steve? Hey, he came back on. All right, so I go to get the hair wash, and we're all sitting around then, and I'm waiting. We're in a circle, and they encourage you to talk to the people around you and find out something interesting about you. So I'm sitting there, and the guy to my left said, I can speak 6 languages. And I was like, ooh, that's
Sexy.
all right. And then the woman next to him said, when I see the word Wednesday, I have to pronounce it Wednesday or else I'll misspell it. I was like, ooh. That's Then it gets around to the woman to my right, and she says, she's like, I came to Burning Man because I just turned 50. I just got fired from my job. I just got divorced from my husband, and I'm a virgin.
Probably. What she failed to mention is that her job was in porn, and that is why she was fired.
Her husband was the director. No, and not at all. No, she was a very normal person who said that all that had happened. I was like, well, in my brain, I'm like, well, you probably got fired from your job because you had all this pent up sexual aggression inside of you. And
you divorced because you're still a virgin.
So you're still a virgin. That's it. And she said, then the night before that I was talking to her that last night, a friend of hers from her camp took her to the Orgy Dome, which is a real thing, an orgy dome. A dome to get dome. So this one was like, my friend took me to the Orgy Dome.
The Dome.
The Dome. And she's like, I fucked everything. And at that point, I got up and I looked at everybody and I was like, she wins Burning Man.
Yeah.
I turned to the guy who speaks 6 languages. I was like, do you speak the language of fuck? Because she now does. Hey, Wednesday, have you ever had 2 dicks in your ear? Because I bet this lady had.
Yeah, I'm glad you need a little prompting to pronounce D, because she got plenty of it last night.
Oh, yeah. But I was like, I just love this place that this woman sitting to my right, 50-year-old person, experienced probably the greatest. I remember my first time, the greatest sexual experience ever, and with multiple people at this one event. And I was like, that is what Burning Man was meant to be, was this woman just getting it in every single hole for the very first time and making her forget about the fact that she's unemployed.
Nice. Love it.
I do have to say, this is the first time on Sax Talk somebody has shared somebody else's
I mean,
sexual
listen,
story.
what am I going to do? Talk about how many times, having sex with my wife?
No. I mean, I wouldn't do a Sax Talk about my wife, so I totally get it.
And it has been so long. I mean,
it's been so long since I've had sex.
Yeah,
so long. I don't even remember where I don't even remember where I put it. Like I remember where I put my car keys before I remember where I put my
folks.
No, I've known my wife since '97. So that was the last time I was
with my wife since 2002.
So that was the last time I was with
we get it.
Oh,
Hey.
16-year-old me.
Come on, man.
Coming back. The 16-year-old me definitely
Needs his own show.
Yeah, 16-year-old me is
16-year-old me.
16-year-old me. Oh, let's do this shit, man. And so I've known her since 97. So we're talking about I haven't been with somebody different since 97. That is a long
time.
21 years.
Yeah.
I don't even think I remember what I did back then.
Different era.
Different era, and I was young. Pre-iPhone, man. I think last time I was with somebody different, I had a flip phone.
Yeah.
I flipped her, and then I had the flip phone.
No, flip phone. You didn't even have a flip phone. It was like one of those giant things where you pull the antenna up.
Yep, pull the antenna up.
You showed her your snake, and then you're playing a game of snake.
There we go.
Hey,
Rubik's Snake.
Hey. Guys, thanks so much for coming on the show.
Shit, yeah,
Thank you
dude.
for having
so
us.
fun.
This was great.
Please plug away some stuff right now.
Yeah, dude. Come. First of all, when is this dropping? Do we know?
On Monday.
On Monday. Okay, so tonight, as this drops on the 10th, we have a live version of our podcast at Largo, Dumb People Town, with our buddy Daniel Van Kirk, Mr. Jeremiah Watkins, or Miss Jeremiah Watkins, whatever the gender reveal cake will reveal. You have done the show, and it was fantastic.
You were great.
Oh, so fun.
Dumb people doing dumb things, and we get to riff about it.
And Daniel Van Kirk, so funny.
Brilliant.
He's really great. And then our guest is Will Forte.
Will Forte, and then Zach Galifianakis is going to come by and do a little something. Ted Leo is going to be playing music. So I think it's going to sell out, but if there are tickets available, please come and see that. If you're in San Francisco, we're doing...
No, before that, on the 20th.
The 20th.
Here, we never get to do a full-length set around the LA area. We are headlining at Flappers.
And I'm going to ask this on the air on the 20th. Are you around on the 20th?
I leave for Kansas City on the 20th.
Oh, we would have had you on the show.
We would have had you on the show for sure.
But if you're hanging around LA and around that holiday week, we would love to see you come out to this show. It is a pure comedy, comedians comedy, fans of comedy will love this show. It's going to be a lot of
We got
good
almost
comedies.
a new hour of material, so we're excited about that. So that's happening in Sketchfest on January 11th. We're doing
that on the 20th here at Flappers in Burbank, and then on January 11th
we're
in
at
San
Sketchfest
Francisco.
doing a live Dumb People Town with Ron Funches.
At Cobb's.
Heck yeah.
At Cobb's at 10:30 at night. But good stuff. Supersklars.com, all of our dates. Our podcasts are Dumb People Town, which we just mentioned, and View from the Cheap Seats if you like sports and comedy in a really cool way. And we'll have you on that one as well, sir.
I will say, if you guys have not seen the Sklar Brothers live, you absolutely need to do it. I've performed with these guys in pretty much every show that I can be involved with. That you guys have done. Like, you kill it on Stand Up on the Spot. You kill it on the panel on Kill Tony whenever we have you on there.
I love that so much.
Judging roast battles.
The best.
Doing Cake the Distance with the Comedy Jam. Me
Oh my God!
doing
so
the
fun.
horn section.
You were
on
incredible
sax.
on that, dude.
Oh,
good.
dude. So like I've
The
done
last
so
one was
many-
my favorite. The Stone Temple Pilots song we did, Plush. This last one was just insane.
We're going to do that at
We'll do that
Moon Tower.
at Moon Tower. It's
Oh,
gonna be
dude,
great.
that's gonna.
Or
be
we
awesome.
come up with something new. You never know.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
Love you guys. Thanks for coming
Love
on.
you too, buddy. Thanks.
Thanks, man.